Hey everybody, Scorpion here. So this video is going to be giving you information on your solar panel to battery. How to know how to go from what you're producing, and what the max amount of battery you want to have for the production that you have without wasting money on batteries because you can't charge them. So if you don't know how to figure that out, stick around and we'll kind of crunch you some numbers and show you. All right. So let's go into the battery, just some battery information. So if you build an 8,000 watt system, and of course the system I'm building is a 7,800 watt. So it's going to take a little bit more charging time than what's listed here. But if you have a 300 amp hour battery backup, 8,000 watt system, it takes 1.9 hours of peak sun time to charge that system. So it's not really taking away from your solar power, but you do have to use part of your power to charge the system. And I would kind of say it depends on how you want to set it up. Some people want morning time to charge their system. Me, I'm not very active in the morning. It's normally around lunch before I get up, and I tend to be up most of the night. But this is one reason why I'm staying connected to the grid, because I'm not going to have a system big enough to sustain everything that I need yet. But I can build to it later. Some people want to recharge those batteries in peak time. Some want to recharge early morning, so peak time is all direct energy. It's just what works out best for you. And a lot of your panels or inverters now you can program and set up to do however you want. But if you have a 600 amp hour backup battery, then you're looking at 3.5 to 4 hours to build that. I did have somebody tell me I needed a 12 amp hour battery, and I mean, from a previous video, as you know, I'm only getting 4.13 peak sun hours, so I can charge it in this amount of time. But if I go to this, I don't have enough. It's going to take me 2 days to charge that, and if I'm using all of that through the night to survive, then I don't have a big enough solar array to recharge those batteries. So that's kind of where you run into problems at, and figuring it out. If you're on a 12,000 watt system, then 4.8 hours, you're kind of right there. You're cutting it close. It depends upon how much battery power you're using. You know, if you still have a third of each of your batteries left, then you're probably going to charge it. But if they're all dead, you're not going to be able to charge that when you only have 4.13 hours a day of peak sun hours, and it needs 4.8. So you're still kind of over you have two more battery than you can actually adequately use. So you have to keep your system balanced while you build it. Now some people just want the solar power during the day and they're not worried about nighttime. They run on the grid at night, or maybe they turn everything off at night and just suffer through the night. Whatever. To each their own, whatever makes you happy, however you want to configure your stuff. I'm just kind of throwing information out there for you. So I'm going to start off with the package I'm trying to set up is 300 amp hours. So 1.9, basically 2 hours, is going to be charging my batteries, because I'm 200 watts less than this. So I'm going to spend about 2 hours recharging those 3 batteries that I have. I will eventually move up to this, and then I'm going to be using about 4 hours. So almost all of my peak sun hours is going to be running my house and recharging batteries, both. Once I get to this, then I'm probably going to be looking, and that would be 6 batteries that I'm looking at. Then I will probably be looking to add 2 inverters, or 1 inverter. Add another inverter. so I can build another 7,000, 800 watt system with mine doesn't want to work today. Solar panels, 7,800 watts of solar panels going into my 8,000 watt inverter, and I would have to have two batteries again to be able to start that system, which I could pull two batteries from this side. So I'd have 400 amp hour on this side, and I can drop two batteries over here, which would give me 200 amp hours at that point. And then, I'd be good. I can keep going. And the inverters I'm looking at, I think you can put up to 12. So at 8,000 watts a piece, 12 times 8,000, 80-some thousand. Yeah, you can build a huge, huge system. 3 would be, I think, all I need. But that's just information on charging your batteries, because a lot of people forget that you've got to pull from those panels to charge those batteries during the day, and you can kind of program when you want it to charge and that kind of thing. But a lot of people, late evening, you start pulling from your batteries again, and then once the sun's completely down, because you're not producing 8,000 watts, late evening you may be producing 6,000, and then it'll drop to 4,000, and then, so it depends upon how much usage you're using as to how much is left over, if any, and the excess will have to come from your batteries. So, and then of course once the sun goes down, you're discharging batteries until they're done, and then you're out, and you got to start all over the next day. So just some battery information, how long it takes to charge, how much you have, that kind of thing, and so on. So if you're running an 8,000 watt system, you're looking at 2 hours to charge 300 amp hours. 600 amp hours, you're looking at 3.5 to 4 hours of peak sun time. And if you're running two systems, then I imagine this would probably cut in half. So you charge that in an hour, that in probably 2 hours. And so on and so forth. But you don't want to surpass or have more battery than you can charge with your system. At that point, you need to be building panels again before you start upgrading batteries, because I had somebody tell me I needed like 12 batteries, which would put me like 1,200 amp hours, and it'd take 2 days to charge them, but I'm discharging every night, so they would never be actually charged, so it wouldn't do me any good. I'd still be sitting at like 600 amp hours instead of 1,200. It wouldn't do me any good to have that many batteries when I can't charge them, so I'd have to have another 800 watt system and then go to 1,200, and then both of them would pretty much be maxed, and that kind of thing. So just balancing the system, learning the stuff,